What is up here, YouTube? Jigsaw0097 here today. Sorry, just adjusting that camera. I'm just going to make one more video before the game, and this is going to be kind of my prediction video. What I think is going to go down, the edges for each team over the other, and ultimately who I think is going to win. So, as you guys know, I've already picked the Eagles to win. I did talk about it in a couple other videos, but I'm going to kind of give my reasons why I think they're going to win. So, the biggest reason, and it's the title of this video, guys, the Eagles' defense has the edge over the Vikings' offense. I really think that the Eagles' front seven is going to be the X factor here, and they're going to get after Keenum a lot. This is going to be the best defense that the Vikings face all year. They haven't faced a team like this with that many guys on the front seven. You know, like I mentioned it before, you got the four, which are just great. You got Timmy Jernigan, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Chris Long, even Derek Barnett. He's a rookie, but he's been getting some pressure this year. So you got these guys, and they're going to be the X factor here. I know that the Vikings have about a middle-of-a-road O-line. And if you remember last year, their team isn't much different from last year. Basically, that's how the Eagles won that game, is they were sacking Bradford like all day. They were just all over him. So, if they can even replicate that a little bit against Keenum, I feel like Keenum is a worse quarterback than Bradford, so he'll make more mistakes. So, I'm definitely going to give the edge there to the Eagles, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why they will win. But then if we go against, let's see, if we go against the Vikings D-line versus the Eagles O-line, I also think that's a matchup in the Eagles' favor. I think the Eagles O-line is much more elite than the Vikings D-line. You have Lane Johnson, like I said in previous videos, who is basically, I think he's the best tackle. Not just right tackle, like he's the best tackle at that position in the entire league. So it's going to be really hard for them to get after Foles with Lane Johnson. And then also, you know, you got Steve Wisniewski back. He did really well in the Atlanta game. When he's gone, you notice it. And also, Big V, he played one of his best games, probably his best game of his entire career last Saturday against the Falcons. So if he keeps that up, this O-line is going to be really good. And then, of course, you have Jason Kelce, who he's the most athletic center in the league. He gets really great blocks. He is very mistake-prone in some games. He calls a lot of penalties to him, but he honestly is one of the best centers in the league, and he does great too. So this Eagles O-line is really good against this Vikings D-line, I think. So I'm giving them the edge there as well. Nick Foles is going to have a lot cleaner of a pocket than Case Keenum will throughout this game. And I'm not really here to get in the argument of Case Keenum better than Nick Foles, because honestly, I see everyone saying that Case Keenum is better, but I don't think he's better. I think it's basically like the same guy on each side. I think Nick Foles and Case Keenum are pretty much 50-50. I couldn't really pick one that I would take over the other. I'd probably take Nick Foles just because he's been with this team before, you know, obviously. Because Case Keenum has had all year to gel with that team. If he was in the situation where Carson Wentz went down and he had to come in, he would probably be struggling similarly to the way Nick Foles struggled. So, in my mind, they're both backup-level quarterbacks. Granted, they're both very good backups. I'd say they're both in the top 20 quarterbacks of this league. So they're not bad by any stretch of the means. I just don't think that Keenum is leagues better than Nick Foles, which is what I've been hearing a lot of. So, quarterback play, I'm not giving any edge. The only edge I would give is Nick Foles is going to have a cleaner pocket, I think, than Case Keenum because of the O-lines. And the Eagles have their D-line is too insane. And then another edge that I'm going to give to the Eagles here, guys, is the run defense. If we can shut down the run game, which I think they will do effectively, it's going to cause Case Keenum to throw the ball a lot. And Case Keenum, when he's pressured, he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league for decision-making when he's pressured. So the Eagles don't have the most elite secondary, but if he's throwing balls out into midfield, you know, you're going to have guys like Jalen Mills and Patrick Robinson and even Malcolm Jenkins, you know, all these guys out there to pick him off. And the thing that I really like about the Eagles' D-line over other D-lines is there's not like one guy that just dominates. It's a team effort. That's why when we name the Eagles' D-line, we don't just name like Fletcher Cox. We name like all of them. You know, like Vinnie Curry, like I said, Derek Barnett, Chris Long. All these guys are just great, and they all bring something valuable. Even Michael Kendricks, if you looked at the Falcons game, he was making some plays that were insane. Like he was sitting back and kind of spying. He was like running back spying. So this is really just a team effort, and that's why I give him the edge there. But yeah, if he starts winging the ball out, you know, because I feel like the run game is going to get neutralized, guys, but we'll have to see. This is going to come down because this is going to come down to a lot of it is going to be because of the running game. So, and then next, we'll kind of move to some weaknesses of the Eagles. Like I said, their secondary, I don't think it's as good as the Vikings secondary. So, we're definitely going to have to see how that goes. But since Case Keenum's going to have probably more pressure than Nick Foles, I think he's going to make worse decisions, and that's gonna trump just flat out talent at the secondary level. So I'll give the Vikings the edge there. Also, when it comes to offense, I don't know if I can give an edge here either, because I feel like it's the weird thing about the Vikings. They're kind of like the Rams this year when we played the Rams. These teams are almost spitting images of each other in many ways. At this point, like when we played the Rams, it was Carson Wentz versus Jared Goff, which they both were drafted that year, so they were drafted in the same year, so that was crazy. And now it's Nick Foles versus Case Keenum again. They're very similar. So offensively, I think I would give the edge slightly to the Eagles just because they have more options. They have Corey Clement, you know, you got Nelson Agholor, as I call him this year, Nelson Snaglor, because he cannot drop a ball. He found himself in Seattle last year, and he has been a beast ever since. Ever since he caught that touchdown in New York, if you guys remember, well, it was in Philadelphia, but against the Giants when they played Blackout Thursday last year. Ever since then, Nelson Agholor, he's found himself. He's back. So you got him, you know, you got Alshon Jeffrey, which Nick Foles was getting more involved again. Zach Ertz, arguably one of the best, if not the best, tight end in the league right now, other than maybe Gronkowski, obviously. But I mean, you got, and then Trey Burton. Trey Burton's an underutilized player, but he is very explosive when you get him going. As you can go back and look at Carson Wentz's tape, he got several touchdowns to Trey Burton. I think 2 of them were in the Rams game. So yeah, the Eagles overall. But then if you go to the Vikings, you know, they got Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs actually, he's very much like a Nelson Agholor, so he's going to be deadly. You know, you got Xavier Rhodes, I think. Or no, Xavier Rhodes is the secondary, sorry. I don't really know all the Vikings players super well, but Latavius Murray, that's the guy, their running back. He's really good for the Vikings too. And honestly, I'm going to give him the edge, actually. We're going to go to run game here. I think the Vikings have a better run game than the Eagles based on players, because the biggest reason I say that is because Jay Ajayi has been proving that he has a fumble problem right now. He's suffering from fumbleitis, and he needs to get over it in this game. It's crazy. If you look at that Atlanta game, had you taken away that early fumble by Jay Ajayi, would have been a completely different ball game. And then also there was that play at the end when Nick Foles was doing that really good drive that ended in a field goal. If Jay Ajayi didn't drop that screen pass, it might have been a touchdown drive. So that's why I'm going to give the edge to. I still think that both runs are going to be pretty much shut down. I feel like this game is going to come down to either Nick Foles or Case Keenum and how many touchdowns slash field goals they score. So the run game will be prominent, but I feel like it's going to be shut down both, and I'm going to give the edge to the Vikings there on just players, I guess. But overall, if you go over what I've said, like I said, I think that the Eagles are going to win because I just think that they have more talent there. We'll go to special teams to finish this up. Again, I feel like this is a 50-50. Maybe a slight edge to Minnesota because they've been really good on special teams this year, whereas the Eagles have been kind of They've been good, but they're not like they were last year. You know, last year you had like Josh Huff returning returning touchdowns. So of late, I would say that the Vikings get the edge there slightly. I think that they're very similar again. This is like looking in the mirror, guys. That's what you got to think about when you're going into this Vikings game. These teams match up well. This is why I wanted them to play the Vikings over the Saints, because I feel like there's a shot here, much more than against Drew Brees and that secondary that we have. So yeah, that's the edge. I'm going to give the edge to the Eagles. Overall, like I said, there are some X factors here too that also give it to the Eagles. For one, they're going to be at home. This Eagles defense has played lights out. The only game that they lost this year, guys, at home was against the Cowboys in a meaningless game. So really, they have not lost at home. They've been undefeated. They have like the best home record in the league now, beating Seattle for that. They're basically, most people are saying that the Eagles have a better home field advantage now than Seattle, because the Legion of Boom is kind of going down a little bit now. And then also there's the fans, the Eagles fans. You know, they're all going to be wearing dog masks. You know, they're gonna play that underdog thing to heart. So I'm giving, and then the last one is the Vikings are a dome team. I don't know how cold it's going to be anymore. I keep seeing that it's actually going to be not that cold, but they're still going to be outside in the elements. You know, the Atlanta Falcons complained that they were slipping around the field, so there's going to be that as well. So overall, I just don't think the Vikings are going to be able to get it done, guys. That's just my opinion here. I'm not trying to like disrespect the Vikings or anything, and we're going to see what happens. If the Eagles end up losing, I'll be making another video, you know, explaining why that happened. So this is not me just saying that the Vikings suck, because they're not. I mean, both of these teams are here for a reason. They're both 14-3. Honestly, if I looked at the season as it was progressing, this is the way that I pictured the NFC Championship. And if you remember, actually, last year I thought it was going to be the Vikings and the Eagles in the championship, because the Vikings got off to that crazy 5-0 start and the Eagles got off to that 3-0 start. So this is the year that it's like, it makes sense that these are the two teams in here. So anyway, guys, that's my picks. I'm going to end this video with a final score. I think that the Eagles are going to win it 13-7. I've been saying that all week. I think that the Eagles are going to hold the Vikings to 1 touchdown, and the Eagles, and then the Vikings are going to allow 1 touchdown as well, and the Eagles are going to have to win off 2 field goals. I think they're going to get 2 more field goals with Nick Foles driving it down, because he's going to have that protection. But yeah, guys, that's my score. 13-7. Eagles win it to go on to the Super Bowl. But what do you guys think about this game? I know we've only got like 2 days. This, like I said, this will probably be my last video until after the playoffs, this playoff game. So anyway, guys, what do you guys think? Comment down below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you disliked it, go ahead and dislike it. That's fine. I'm trying to do this YouTube thing more regularly on here, so I'll be making a lot more videos. And if you like this, you know, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll leave a link up in the corner for you. Put some links to some other videos as well if you want to see some other Eagles-related videos on here. And then, as always, guys, I want to just thank you so much for watching my stuff. Yeah, this has been Jigsaw0097. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby, and I will talk to you guys all later.